Okay, episode number 24 of the entire MQ Mastery course, Index Futures News Trading Cheat Sheet. Okay, all of the previous lessons, right? And as we're getting to mastering that equity open and knowing whether it's going to be manipulation or distribution, this is one of the foundations of it, not on its own, right? The previous lessons as well, like I've explained, but this is the last thing we need now until we get to that understanding of whether it's going to be manipulation or distribution. Now you guys will be familiar with the cheat sheet I put up on Twitter, Instagram, and Telegram, right, where I shared it publicly, but now I'm going to break this down for you guys on a chart, right, what it looks like when we have those specific news events. Okay, now index futures have a tendency to have very similar characteristics for specific news events that repeat quite consistently, right? This is also why I love index futures, because you don't have the same consistency on Forex. This isn't 100% of the time, obviously. However, it is most of the time, okay? And if you guys go back test this, you're going to see this in your charts. So let's start off when we have no news, right? No impact news, no high impact news. What do? We focus on 9:30 a.m. to be manipulation, okay? So you can see here, right? No news on this day. This is August the 27th. Relative equal highs above us. As you guys know, this is a extremely high probability draw on liquidity. Equity open then 9:30 a.m. right, and this is our sweet spot in the kill zone. We take all our trades within here. 9:30 a.m. because there's no news, it ends up being a manipulation in the opposing direction of the draw on liquidity, and then we see a confirmation of a order block here. IFVG, once we close above, we could be using that for longs to trade into the relative equal highs, buy side liquidity, right? 8:30 a.m. news. This is the most common news event. Either one of two things will happen. 8:30 a.m. will be manipulation, and 9:30 a.m. will then be the distribution, okay? Or 8:30 a.m. moves us in the opposing direction of our draw on liquidity. So let's say we're bearish. 8:30 a.m. will give a small pump, and just before 9:30 a.m., we still haven't accumulated those buy stops to sell, right? 9:30 a.m. will then run it really quickly and reverse, okay? So notice here, the 8:30 a.m. high impact news on August the 29th. That's right here. We have relative equal lows below us as a draw on liquidity. From the previous lessons in the mentorship, you should know we hit a weekly rejection block here. Okay. Then we have a premium high, discount low, market trades back up into 50%. Okay. So we're in a premium here. Now notice here. You guys know why this is a turtle soup, right? Specific characteristics. Then we have SMT distribution above this high. ES takes out this high. And 8:30 a.m. news does what? The manipulation. It goes above this high into a premium, into the key level, right? 9:30 a.m. then is distribution. So when 8:30 a.m. news does this, expect 9:30 a.m. to do this when you have that bias, which you guys should now know how to determine from the previous lessons. Okay, here's that second example of what it will do here. So 8:30 a.m. news, right? Doesn't matter that there's two news events, it's the same thing, right? We're looking at the buy stops, two sell stops here. We also have relative equal lows here. 8:30 a.m. pushes us up higher. Okay, have we taken out the buy stops yet? Excuse me. Have we taken out the buy stops yet? No. So what will 9:30 do? Run out the buy stops and then reverse aggressively to our sell side liquidity. So it moves direction, moves in the same direction twice. Okay, before you see that reversal, okay, post 9:30. So double manipulation basically. Okay, 8:30 a.m. and 9:45 a.m. news. When we have this specific two-stage news event, always wait for 10 a.m. Majority of the time, 8:30 until 10 a.m., the market will chop in a seek and destroy market profile before the real manipulation and move at 10 a.m. Tip, okay? 10 a.m. is a new 4-hour candle, so keep an eye on the 4-hour candle closure as we approach 10 a.m. Now, guys, when we have this news event, don't even bother coming to your charts until post 9:45. Trust me, it will aid you very well. It's going to stop you from getting stopped out because it chops everybody up before the real move occurs at 10. Okay, so August the 21st here, 8:30 and 9:45 a.m. news, red folders here, right? Notice what happens, right? We have relative equal highs above us as a draw on liquidity. Chop, right? This is 10 a.m.'s candle. Look at what it does here. It starts off here, okay, at 9:30, it induces traders thinking, oh, we've run the stops out here, they're bearish, fair value gap, short. Goes up higher, oh no, we're actually bullish, relative equal highs, long, gets wrecked. Bearish fair value gap, short, gets wrecked. Bullish fair value gap, long, gets wrecked. When does the real move happen? 10 a.m. As soon as 10 a.m. hits, you have that drawn liquidity. We close above the down close candles here. We confirm a change in the state of delivery, long, right? At a key time when we have this news event, right? This is how you stop getting chopped up with this news event. Okay, and then we have another example here. Thursday, the 24th of July. Okay, 8:30 and 9:45 news event. What does it do? Chop. Okay, 10:12 a.m. sets the low. So the new 4-hour candle is where the real low forms. We run out the stops here. Range low, range high, right? Taken, displacement, fair value gap. You could go long there to attack the relative equal highs. As you know, strong drawn liquidity, discount retracement, right? Then aggressively moves up high during the lunch hour, right? So always wait for 10 a.m. when you have this two-stage news event. Okay, 10 a.m. news. When we have 10 a.m. news, always wait for 9:30 a.m. first, right? 10 a.m. news will either be manipulation or distribution. If 9:30 a.m. was manipulation, you can expect 10 a.m. to be distribution, right? Again, the same thing. This is a strong tip for you guys. If 9:30 a.m. was manipulation, keep an eye out on the H4 candle closure to close within the previous H4 candle, since 10 a.m. is a new 4-hour candle. If Asia, okay, and London are clearly trending in one direction and there is only 10 a.m. news event, anticipate 10 a.m. news to wipe out the price action from London and Asia. 9:30 a.m. manipulation, 10 a.m. distribution. That's this example here. So if we look at this here, we run out the previous daily low here. London sets the low of the day, relative equal highs as a drawn liquidity. Notice the 10 a.m. news event here. Market trades up, runs out relative equal lows, right? For bullish and there's relative equal lows, always wait for relative equal lows to get taken. 9:30 a.m. did the manipulation. So what will 10 a.m. do? Distribution. You can trade this in one of two ways, okay? You can either get in at the manipulation and hold through the distribution, or wait for the manipulation to occur and long just before 10 a.m. to anticipate distribution. Like I said, keeping an eye out on candle closures. Notice we have closed inside of this one candle here, right? Which means we should be attacking this one candle's high here. We haven't got to it yet here at 10 a.m. Also, note we closed above the previous candle's high. As we get to the new 4-hour 10 a.m. candle, that's a signal to you that price should continue bullish. Remember the candle closure lessons earlier on. Okay, let's look at when 10 a.m. is manipulation. Okay, here's an example of that. Range high, right? High that's obviously connected to the low. There's only 10 a.m. news here. The market chops around. This is 9:30 a.m. here, right? We're not trading it here, right? Because we haven't taken the range high. Then this is 10 a.m. We see 10 a.m. cause the manipulation, right, of the range high, and then the market sells off. So 10 a.m. was the manipulation and it was the distribution. Okay. 10 a.m. news against Asia and London's price action. So remember, when Asia and London are trending in one direction and we have a hard time frame key level and only a 10 a.m. news event, look for that 10 a.m. news event to wipe out all that liquidity from Asia and London, right? So an example of that. We have relative equal lows below this low. Sorry, this is covering it. But we have relative equal lows here and here. Market trades up higher, okay, into a key level, right? Asia and London with the same market profile, bullish, right? Then notice 10 a.m. news event, market trades above the 9:30 a.m. here, right? Manipulation at 9:30. We then close below this candle here, IFEG. This is 10 a.m.'s candle. Expect distribution to wipe out Asia and London's trend, okay? That's what will happen when you have that trending Asia and London and then a 10 a.m. news event. Again, keep an eye out on the candle closure as we go into 10 a.m. That's that tip. This right here, okay, is all Asia and London's price action. That's that relative equal lows. Key level is the old high here. 6 to 10, right? So this is 6 a.m.'s candle, which incorporates the 9:30 a.m. Equity open. We closed within, right? That's your signal to you that 10 a.m. is likely to be distribution down to the relative equal lows and running out Asia and London's price action. Okay, FOMC. Always wait for the last FOMC news event to pass and engage post 2:45 p.m. Usually runs both sides of liquidity for the real move. And the real move usually happens in the final hour macro, 3 p.m. Okay, so here's an example of that. This candle here is equity open. Notice here, fair value gap, okay, equity open, FOMC, short from the fair value gap in a premium, okay, runs out relative equal lows here, okay, so it delivers buy side, manipulates higher, right, with this wick up, then it trades lower. Then what happens at 3 a.m.? 3 p.m., sorry, runs 2 p.m.'s low, and that is the then real move in the direction of order flow. Okay, so this is how you approach FOMC. The advanced students can try and catch the short here and then the long here. Don't do that in the beginning. Focus on 3 p.m. and wait for both sides to get run. NFP, always wait for 8:30 a.m. NFP will either be manipulation or distribution. If NFP is distribution in direction of high time frame drawn liquidity, sit out for the whole day as it's likely to be a mess, okay? Only focus on NFP when it's manipulation, right? If NFP is manipulation in the opposing direction of the high time frame drawn liquidity, 9:30 a.m. and or 10 a.m. can sometimes give us a clean scalp, but that's all it is. It's just a scalp. Usually 10 a.m. is cleaner. NFP distribution, 9:30 a.m. mess, and 10 a.m. is more clean. Okay, so let's look at an example here of when you should just sit out of the market. We had SMT distribution here. We had a bullish bias on the day, right? So if NFP first traded down below these lows, okay, and then gave an entry model, we could participate then. But if NFP moves in the direction, okay, of your drawn liquidity, stay out of the market. It's gonna chop. Okay, don't participate in it. And you can see equity open is a mess. Okay, here's an example of when NFP is tradable. Premium, discount, range within a dealing range. We run out the buy stops, okay, at 8:30 a.m. So 8:30 a.m. NFP here was manipulation. 9:30 a.m. then is distribution. This is somewhat tradable, right? Not super clean, but 10 a.m., which is this candle here, is where it starts to pick up momentum and becomes more clean, okay? So that's a tip for you guys. Again, 4-hour candle closure with that one. Okay, yellow folder PM session, bond auction. News with no high impact or medium impact events with the bond auction there. Usually a clean move during the PM session on these days. Sometimes as well, when we have a high or medium impact news event, you will still see a clean move in the PM session if there's that yellow folder bond auction. So you can see here, we did have a news event, PPI, okay? We had the buy stops to sell stops, the range, okay? 8:30 a.m. here manipulates in the direction of the buy stops, and then look at the price action here, choppy. Where is the cleanest move? When we have that PM session bond auction. That's the cleanest move to the relative equal lows sell side liquidity, okay? This is really important that you digest this lesson as well, because it's crucial to the next episode, which is determining the equity open and mastering it. This is one of those lessons that is required to master that equity open, right?